This is Level Up Success Podcast with Neth and Truth.
Hey, how you doing, friends and family? This is the Level Up
Success Podcast.
and welcome to another episode where we always bring knowledge and power to our listeners. So tell me now, how we gonna start this now?
Hey, how you guys doing today? We haven't been we are back. We haven't been here for a while, so I know people been asking, hey, are you guys creating content? Believe me.
Did we retire?
Yeah. Not yet, man. We got a long ways to go. But we've been cooking up something new, so we have something very exciting for you guys. And we are not stopping. We're not looking to stop. And we got some great stuff for you guys. So now as far as today, we have a guest, something very interesting to talk about. I'm excited for this one, and I know he's a very busy person, so he's gonna talk about what he does, and there's a reason why he couldn't be here with us today, but we're gonna talk to him and learn something.
Yeah, I want to thank you for taking your time. That's one of the reasons he's actually working right now, but he's taking time out of his day to do this with us. So I do appreciate it.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, thank you guys for having me. I'm happy to be here.
All right. So first off, why don't we give our audience your name so everybody can know?
Oh yeah, so my name is Eudy or Eurus.
All right.
I was born in the Heights in New York City.
The Heights.
Raised in the Bronx, and then I lived in Harlem for like 10 years, and now I'm in Jersey.
Oh, wow, so you've been in 3 balls now.
I've been all over the city. Yeah.
I know that.
A little hiatus to go to Jersey, the suburbs for a little bit.
No, that's dope. That's dope. I see a lot of people doing that right now.
What's your nationality for the viewers?
I'm fully Dominican.
All right, There you go. So I mean, how was it growing up in the Heights?
Well, I was born in the Heights, but I grew up in the Bronx.
Okay, got you.
And it was. I think my upbringing was. I don't think it was anything special. Went to high school, went to middle school there, a little bit of elementary school. I think I had the typical Dominican upbringing in that my mom took me out of school and took me to the R for 5 years.
Okay.
So that's why my first language is Spanish. So I ended up actually going to school here from second up to college. But before that, I was in DR for 5-6 years. So my first language is Spanish. I have very Dominican mentality. I'm very Dominican in that I speak Spanglish a little bit.
Yeah.
But I feel at work I kind of have to turn it off a little bit.
What was the number one dish in the household back then?
Oh my God.
There you go. Yeah.
That's my thing. It's still salami. Oh my God. With some avocado and onions.
Yeah. No, you gotta have them onions. Thing. You gotta have them. Nah, definitely. Nah, he's certified Dominican. We got it. What is it that you do for a living?
So I am currently a post story producer for reality TV, meaning that basically once a show is shot, it comes to me and I kind of streamline the storylines. I piece things together. I connect the dots. I write the confessionals. After the show is shot, we kind of handle everything, and we basically just bring the storyline to life.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. And do you mind sharing with us what show have you been working on?
My most recent project is Flipping Musas with Heather from Sun and Sunset. I'm not sure if you guys are familiar.
Oh yes,
okay.
Yeah.
Well, my girlfriend knows about it, so yeah, she
I saw some follows. Yeah, your girlfriend follows her on Instagram. I saw it.
Yeah.
So I'm working on Flipping Musas. It just aired. I'm still on the show for the next couple of months. Right now, we're still finishing things up. But basically, it's about Heather, who works in real estate, and then her husband, Tariq Musa, who flips homes, and they kind of combine forces, and they're doing their own flips now. And it's kind of just their adventure of flipping the houses and selling them, and the journey, and her learning how to flip these houses, and him learning from her and learning from each other.
Okay, that's awesome. I mean, and that's actually very knowledgeable, and is like a good content, for, educational content, right?
Yeah, especially for people that flipping. I mean, I always like those type of show anyway. When it comes to real estate, that's one of my things. Oh, tell me.
Yeah, it's like a hybrid. It's like a home show, but also kind of like Sun and Sunset a little bit because you're
Yeah.
bringing in Heather, who
Yeah.
has
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
that knowledge of like like high end real estate, and so like it's kind of like her journey and like learning to flip and not flip like $20 million homes, but like $1 million homes and $2 million homes. So it's like funny seeing her adjust to like flipping homes and like staying on budget because that's like a big thing. Like she never wants to stick to budget. That's kind of like that's like the gag in every episode that she's like, well, our budget's 400K, but why can't it be 500K? And so it's like
Yeah.
her journey through learning all of that, like why we have to stick to a budget and why home sells for this and not this,
Yeah, but that conflict make it more interesting because the guy,
Yeah,
I understand. Like, I thought we were gonna do this budget. Nah, I want to spend more. I want to make it go more fancy. Like,
Yeah, I remember.
That's
I
really the
I did see one of the episodes, man. I mean, it was entertaining. I mean,
yeah, it is.
yeah.
That's dope. So you say, damn. I mean, I actually asked you before, Paul. What got you into this type of business? Do you actually went to school or?
Yeah. So it kind of all started in high school. I went to cinema school in the Bronx. I was the second graduating class. And so at that time, I'm not sure about now, but at the time, film was like in the curriculum every year. So like once I graduated high school, I had like experience like shooting my own films,
Oh, wow.
knowing how like work a camera, produce, direct, which was like honestly a blessing because like if I didn't have that, I wouldn't be where I am right now. And so in high school, I remember I also partnered with GFS, Ghetto Film School,
Okay.
which is like a non-profit for like TV and film and getting people into the industry. And so I remember at the time I got the opportunity to shoot my own film or direct my own film in Sweden with like some of my high school buddies. And like that was like so eye-opening. I got to basically direct my own movie. Literally, they paid for everything. I got to know basically the whole process of like how to make a film and like myself. We had like a budget and everything.
And that movie, they came out on YouTube. Or can anyone see
It
it?
was we had we had like a whole we had like an opening night for it.
Yeah.
And we showed it to all our families and friends and like it is on YouTube. I think it's like on the Ghetto Film School like page. It's like it's called Documented. It's like a horror film. The beginning of my work, yes. And that was like in 2014 that we shot that. So like I was literally like 17, 18, I was a baby, but like I learned so much from that. And so from there, I stood in contact with GFS and I started college. I went to SUNY Purchase for new media, which is basically art and technology. And so I used kind of like my background in film to kind of get me through that program. It was hard, but I always knew that like I kind of wanted to do something in TV. I wasn't sure if it was film, TV. I wasn't sure exactly if I wanted to be a director, producer. So then I remember I graduated college and I hit up GFS. I was like, yo, like, could you help me out? Like, I need a gig. Like, I don't know what I'm doing. And basically, they hooked me up with my first interview in the industry. And that was with Eastern TV. And Eastern TV, back then, they had all the Love and Hip Hops. Love and Hip Hop New York, Miami, Atlanta.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
But
And
was,
so,
I'm sorry. Was it hard to get to the non-profit? Yes, the non-profit company. They help you out with the job.
yeah, so the nonprofit GFS
Yeah,
helped me
GFS.
out. They helped me like get my first interview in the industry. Cause that's kind of like what they did. They try to bring people from like rural areas up into the industry. And so I remember at the time I hit them up and I was like, hey, I just graduated college. Like I'm looking to start something in industry, but I want something beginner, like something very where I can learn and figure out what I want to do because I'm not sure what I want to do. And they're like, all right, cool, we got you. So they set me up with an interview at Eastern TV. I got the job and that's where it all started. I became an office production assistant. So basically I was working in the office, helping everyone out. So I got exposure to all the departments.
Okay.
I got to kind of see how everything worked, how TV was made. And so from there, I kind of developed an interest in like producing, like post-story producing. I remember there was this person who like really inspired me. Her name is Gigi. I love her so much. And I remember I was looking at her work and I'm like, wow, she's so amazing. She's so talented. Like I want to do what she does one day. And that's what I did. Now 5 years forward, I am a story producer myself. So it's kind of been full circle. But I started at Eastern TV. Then from there, I became a story production assistant for Love and Hip Hop, the reunions. And then from there, I met this woman who was a story producer. Her name is Akila Shedrick, and she's still a story producer. And she kind of saw something in me that I didn't see myself. She was like, listen, I think you're ready for the next step. And so from there, she got me my first associate producer gig, and that was on the show Girls Cruise with like Little Kim and like Chili and like Maya.
Oh
Okay.
Which was
wow.
like a huge deal. I was like, whoa, how did I even get here? Like my first real gig, and it's like A-list celebrities, and yeah, it was amazing. So from Eastern TV, you know, I was a office production assistant, then became a story production assistant, and then from there, I met this awesome story producer. Her name is Akila Shedrick, and she saw something in me that I didn't see myself. She was like, "You're ready to be an associate producer. Like my next show, I'm gonna bring you on." And I was like a little nervous because this industry is like freelance. So like you never know when you're really gonna get your next gig. And so at the time I was a kid. So I was like, damn, I don't want to be unemployed, but like I want to believe in her. I don't want to leave this company because I don't know what's happening. But then I remember like 2 weeks later, she gives me a call. She goes, "Hey, I actually got a position for you in my show. This show called Girls Cruise with like Little Kim and Chili and Maya and you know A-list celebrities." I was like, "Wait, really? This is gonna be my first associate story producer gig?" She was like, yeah. I interviewed. I ended up getting it, and it was like the most amazing thing ever. I fell in love with the industry all over again.
That must have been very exciting. Yeah.
Yeah, because but to be like you say, it's one of your first biggest job to be, so and to have
Yeah,
all
like
those stars.
yeah, to be working with A-list celebrities, I was like, who am
Yeah.
I? Like, you know, this like young Dominican kid from like the Bronx, like out here like working with A-list celebrities. Wow, like it was like mind blowing, honestly. Like I think that's like where it all began. From there, you know, went back to Love and Hip Hop, Miami as an associate producer for them. Then I got to work on shows like Amy Schumer Learns to Cook for like the Cooking Network. You know, this industry, it's all about like making connections. So like that's kind of like how you get your next job. Like jobs are
Yeah.
usually anywhere from like 3 to 6, 7 months or a year sometimes. And so I remember through those working on those shows, I made connections with the story producers. And you know, after I finished Amy Schumer, I got the opportunity to work for 90 Day Fiance.
Oh wow.
Oh wow. Okay.
Yeah, I got to be an associate producer for like the franchise. I worked with Big Ed. He was actually really cool to work with. I think it was a great like stepping stone into like more of like docu soap, which was an amazing experience. Honestly, like I feel so blessed to be able to have like the journey I've had in this industry. Like I feel like again, like you know, this Dominican boy from the Bronx out here working with like A-list celebrities and all these like highly, you know, renowned like A-list like reality shows that everyone was watching at the time. So, you know, from there, I was working my ass off for 2 years on 90 Day Fiance, and then one day I got a call from like a producer I worked with like 2 years prior on Love and Hip Hop, and she was like, "Hey, I have this opportunity for you. I think it'll be great. It's a step up to be a story producer. I know you always want to do this. I think you're ready." And I was like, I don't think I'm ready. Like I'm so young because story producers are always, you know, a little bit in the early 30s and up, and you know,
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
was just like about 26. So I was like, I don't think I'm ready. Like I don't have enough experience. She goes, "No, I've seen your work. Like you're ready for this." So, you know, I took a leap of faith and I was like, all right, I'll take the job. I interviewed with the EP, the executive producer. Her name is Natalia. She's awesome, who I'm
Mhm.
working with right now. And she was like, listen, like, I understand it. I get it. Like, I made the leap myself too. And like, it was scary. But like, if Diana, who recommended me, thinks you're ready, I trust her. I believe in her. I think you're ready too. So I took the job and here we are. I'm a story producer now.
Wow,
Oh
man,
wow.
that's awesome, man.
Yeah,
That's-
I know you were saying that this type of job that you do is freelance. Like every time you know that the job is about to end, do you start looking or somebody actually call you? It seems like that person already had you in mind. So
Yeah, like usually it's all like word of mouth. But sometimes like, you know, you use your networking skills to kind of like see what's happening next or see where people are at. And they usually like if you closed mouths don't get fed. And in this industry,
yeah, I have to talk.
really
Yeah.
like is a big deal. Like you have to really promote yourself. You have to really be out there and like tell people what you're doing, what you're working on,
Yes.
when you're finishing, because you never know when the next gig could start. So basically, right now I'm actually in that position right now. My show I'm done maybe in like a month. So now it's when I start kind of like networking and asking like my friends in the industry, hey, like I'm done in a month. Like if you know anything, let me know. Like what are you working on? Are you about to start something else? So that's where I'm at right now. But usually like what I tell myself, and it really has always paid off, is that it always works out. As
Mhm.
cliche as it sounds, it really always works out. Like I remember at first I used to be always like really nervous, like, oh my God, I'm done a month. Like, how am I gonna pay my bills? Like, how am I gonna do this and this? But like if you open your mouth, like you really can always make it work.
Yeah, nah, exactly. I mean, if you don't talk, then like how you give yourself the opportunity to get into something if nobody knows,
Exactly. And that's
Yeah.
my thing too. Like, I'm very like, although I look kind of like outgoing here, I'm actually very, very shy.
Mm-hmm.
And I hate asking people for things. So like it's been good in that like I get to come out of my comfort zone
Yeah.
and I get to, speak to people and like actually branch
Yeah.
out and like, vent for myself,
Yeah, I know. Yeah, I know what that's like because a lot of people like when I say this, they're shocked. But I'm also a shy type. Like if you see me in settings, I don't really talk much.
Yeah.
But if you bring up a conversation that I could relate to, then there I could talk and then we could have a conversation. But I'm new to this networking game as well.
Yes.
And it is a fun experience because you are getting out of your comfort zone, and when you do that, you're growing. You're not even realizing you're growing because you're doing something that you didn't expect that you had the ability to do. So
And the more you do it, it really becomes easier.
yeah,
Like that's what I've learned in the last like 4 or 5 years I've been in this industry. Like if you know how to sell yourself, you can make it anywhere.
yeah,
Yeah,
And
and you
that's the
cannot
thing, like,
stop.
just selling yourself and being confident about like what you've done and what you do and what you could offer to the table. Like with me, I've always been very fearful that like because I'm young and like of color and like a super like white industry, like I'll be looked at as less because young of color. But that's really like my strength. Like I've learned that that's like what makes me different. Like I have a different perspective. I have a different point of view. Like because I'm younger, like my work is different from people who are older.
yeah.
Because I'm of color, I have a different experience than someone who's white or whatever. So I think that's what makes me different. That's what makes me unique. And it's taken a couple of years for me to realize that. But I think I've finally come to a place where I'm like, all right, I think my strengths are really, I think my weaknesses are really strengths.
Yeah, yeah. You
You
could,
know?
yeah. You just turn your weakness into strength.
And that's how you
So,
become stronger
Yeah.
mentally because, like you say, like I'm the same as him. I'm actually pretty shy too. I'm not like that outspoken. It seems weird, like people like us. We doing a podcast. We don't really,
Well, you guys have no clue.
yeah. No,
So here
but
we
the
are.
more we do it, the more better, and the more, like we said, the more you network because you gotta be able to communicate, meet people. That's why. That's one of the way. It's like a freelance, like you said.
Yeah.
If you go
For
do
sure.
it,
And that's the thing too. Like I feel like another like worry I always had is that like I don't come from money. I don't come from like high end things. So I always felt like people were looking at me like as less than because I don't, I don't look like I'm not wearing, $500 shoes and like a $2,000 coat like my coworkers were, like my peers were. That's something that always like kind of like, made me think. But then I realized that like, again, like strengths can really come out of worries and like out of insecurity. So I think it's taken a couple years, but I think I'm finally in a place where I'm comfortable with my differences and like using that to really elevate myself forward.
Awesome. That's
that's
awesome.
awesome. Yeah.
That's good right there.
Yeah, I like the advice and the thing that people can learn from. That's one of the reasons I love doing this because not so many people will go that direction because, like you said, we're people of color. Maybe they might not think the same way. Uh, Especially in the industry, is nah. We're not.
We're not integrated into this business, which is my next question that I was gonna ask.
Yes.
Like how what ethnicity of people do you see now? Is it expanding? Are you seeing new? Are you seeing new type of people coming in and. So yeah.
I'll say this: there is not a lot of people who look like us in this industry,
Okay.
and you'll see the most urban shows like Love and Hip Hop, and the people behind there are all white people making these things.
Wow.
And like it blew my mind when I first saw that because I was like, you would think that these urban shows are made by urban people who understand the struggle, who understand what these people are actually going through, but it's not. And that's something that like I remember when I saw that, I was like, you know what, I'm gonna change that. I'm gonna make my mark in this industry because there's not many people who look like me. I think that when I started in this industry 4 to 5 years ago, I did not see many people who look like me. But now that I have experience working in different production companies and like in different environments, I do see a lot more of that. I think there's great progress being made, but I don't think we're there yet.
Okay.
Like I'm actually very fortunate to work in a very like ethnically diverse group right now. But prior to that, for example, like I worked in love and hip hop, and most of my peers were white, and like the heads, like the higher ups, were always like they weren't people of color.
Mm,
So that's also another thing that pushes me to keep going in this industry. Like I want to be an executive producer. Like I want to be an executive producer of color.
mm,
Now I know a couple of executive producers of color, and they're amazing. They're great, but I want to be one of them as well. Like
of
I want to be an
course.
example.
Of
Like I
course.
want to I want to be able to like see someone who was like in my position 4 years ago, like like a production assistant, and be able to be like, listen, like I was just in your seat a couple years ago. I did that too, and look at where I am now. I want to be the voice for that. You know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I mean, and what you just said, I could relate to as well. Because I mean, I know if anybody follows the podcast world, back then it used to be mostly like what 70% Caucasian.
Yeah, like I did a study
Yeah.
about when the podcast arena started. It was mostly 70% Caucasian people listening and doing it. Right now, it went down to 40%. It's still kind of high, but it's going down every year. And now you see Spanish podcasts.
The Latinos are taking
Back in
over.
the day, I think it's so Spanish podcasts.
Woohoo! We take.
Right. See?
Yeah,
So-
so I mean, and like, and we're working and striving on and letting people know that we have a podcast that's educational, and that people can learn, and maybe there's other people that could see us and it will inspire them to do the same. So like we just trying to level up our community at the end of the
And that's
day.
the thing too. I
Yeah,
feel like what's also like a big like force is the youth. Like Gen Z
yeah,
is so open-minded, so woke.
yeah,
I've seen people like 17, 18, like rallying and like protesting. And I'm like, wow, like at my age, I was not doing this.
yeah, yeah.
So I'm like, I'm actually,
Yeah, you're
at
right.
17, 18, I was in my room watching TV like after high school, you know what I mean, or whatever. Like, and these people out here rallying, protesting. I'm like, wow, like change is really happening.
Yeah, yeah,
Something that like I feel like it's good because I think this new generation is really shaping our future in like a better way. I think they're making things more inclusive for everyone. Like for example, I remember when I was their age, I wasn't seeing people who looked like me on TV. Like obviously like on the Spanish channel, but not like in your regular like American TV. You know what I mean? And you see a lot more of that now because of them, because of like what they're doing right now, and because of their mentality.
Yeah, but in their defense, also they do have these content now that they could see, and it could open their eyes. So we didn't have that opportunity the way that
True.
that like the Zen generation has. So like kudos to them for having it, and kudos to us for being able to give them this knowledge.
Yeah,
You know
that's
what I
the
mean?
main thing.
So
I feel like
yeah.
also, yeah, that's true because I feel like Gen Z, like they grew up with like an iPad in their hand. We grew up with what, a book, if that?
Yeah.
I remember when I was like 5, 6, we had the big like white computers. I was
Yeah.
playing like the pinball game.
Yeah, nah,
That's
I remember. I remember when they have them first, like the Macs with the colors in the back.
Oh
Yeah,
yeah.
that was my time.
I'm a little older than
They
you
used to,
two.
yeah, they used to be. Oh yeah, you know.
I'm a way older than you two.
So what was there in your time?
I guess the white. I mean, it's similar. The big screen, the big freaking desktop, and the keyboard. It was huge. They just say that.
Yeah, yeah.
Nowadays, little kids like 2, 3 already reading. I'm like, I learned to read till I was like 5 or 6.
Yeah, yeah.
That's awesome, man.
Everything's
Yeah.
so advanced now.
Everything is changing. Everything is adapting. Everything is going faster. So we just gotta get updated with the times.
We have to. We have to. And coming up in the next week episode.
Like every day, I feel like it's a blessing, really, and like I feel so fortunate to be able to do what I love 5 days a week. Honestly, this work is this job is so like hour demanding that when like I'm not at the gym, I'm always working, but
Yeah.
if not, I'm at the gym, and if not, I'm like running errands, speak Spanish. That takes me. That has gotten me so many jobs, especially like especially on 90 Day Fiance because they always need someone who speaks Spanish because the couples are always like Spanish,
Yeah.
or something like that. So like I feel like the fact that I speak Spanish has really helped me. I feel like my age has helped me. Like for example.